Alright guys, so it's been a while since I've done my last PvE video, and a lot of you guys probably want to know the absolute best things for grinding bosses. So in this video, you're going to find the single best way to grind Gen 3 bosses at the very end. So if you want to skip to that, I mean, go ahead if you want. And throughout this video, I'm going to be explaining the best things for both human and Gen 3 bosses. So if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to like, subscribe, right to the video, guys. Alright, so coming in 10th place is going to be Typhoon's second ability. Now, please be aware that Typhoon's second was actually damage nerf. As you guys can see, it only does 11,000 a tick now. And obviously, guys, it does more damage based on the amount of clones you actually have on the actual boss. This is obviously best done if you have, multi-vanishing clones and use it on the boss while he's down. But generally, there's always going to be something better you could use against the boss, which is the main reason why Typhoon's actually going to be ranked this low. 99% of the time, you have something better than Typhoon, and if you get stuck with Typhoon, it's really good to know that, it's probably one of the better things to grind with, but it definitely isn't even close to being the best. Just because it was, reduced by 1/3 of the total damage amount, which is a pretty hefty decrease in damage. All right, guys, so coming in 9th place is going to be the Spear of Sparky. Now, this one is specifically for Gen 3 bosses. This thing does a ton of damage to Gen 3 bosses. It's because the traps hit multiple times on the bosses, and there are just so many traps from the actual Spear of Sparky that it just, it's just an extremely good, weapon for Gen 3 bosses. You generally do a bit over 100,000 damage with this if you actually use this on Gen 3 bosses, and there's not really much else to say other than that. All right, guys, so coming in 8th place is going to be the Renshiki Axe. Now, this one's going to be for a very simple reason. It's just an insanely easy to use PvE weapon. Like you guys can see, it doesn't really do that much damage. It does more damage to Gen 3s, but it's a very low cooldown weapon, and it's very easy to integrate into your moveset. Now, Kokoku Bone Staff also does a lot of damage to the bosses, but Renshiki Axe generally is going to be easier to use because it doesn't really, take any time to use. It's just very simple, very quick, very effective. Now, coming to 7th place is going to be Emerald Second. Now, Emerald Second functions a lot like Apollo Sand Third, but it actually does last a lot longer. And it doesn't do nearly as much damage as Apollo Sand, but, you got to be aware that you got to take what you can get. Some people are either stuck with Emerald Second, or you use it in conjunction with the other, really good PvE abilities. To make the absolute best PvE set, you want to be mixing these abilities together to the, your best ability. And I definitely think that Emerald Second is a really easy one to throw in your kit just because it is an EKG. And the fact it's an EKG, you can throw it into your element slots, and it's just pretty much free damage at that point. Yeah, but like I said, Emerald Second is pretty much just a, significantly worse version of Iron Sand Third, but it is one of the ones that you could just throw into your kit and it will do well overall. Now, coming to 6th place is going to be any big M1 KG. Now, of course, for this one, I am using Alfie Ramachisen, which is actually a pretty good PvE KG on its own. It doesn't really compare to the other really good PvE KGs, but as you guys can see, I'm absolutely slamming this guy with Alfie Ramachisen. And obviously, guys, it also makes it a lot harder for them to hit you and stuff like that because, you got all that, you got that fancy raised block syndrome going on right here. But every single big M1 KG is really good against bosses, because like I said, it has raised M1s, and the M1s are really easy to hit Gen 3 bosses with, and you're generally not going to get hit by abilities while you're M1ing. So it does allow you to actually, fight more often than you would otherwise. There's nothing much else to say other than that for big M1 KGs. It's pretty basic. I mean, the M1s are really good against bosses. But you have to make sure they're big M1s. I heard if you like this video right now, you will get 10 million times chance to get Earth while spinning. Go ahead and try it. Now, coming to 5th place, it could be Shindai Kuma, C-Spec, and first ability, and the actual M1s. Now, against human bosses, you want to be using the third mode, like you guys can see here. I am just straight up using the third mode. But against the Gen 3s, you want to be using the fourth mode because it actually makes it so... the boss can actually be hit by the, the M1s of the clones. But generally with Shindai Kuma, you can actually throw the second ability into it. Like I'll do this right now. Boom. Throw the second ability in real quick. The second ability also does a lot of damage to the, human bosses as well. But generally you want to be spamming the C-Spec, and the M1s on the boss. That's going to be the easiest way to kill the boss. And it actually is extremely effective with Form 4 against the actual, Gen 3 bosses in general. Now on the Emerald one, you heard me talking about Apollo Sand, or Iron Sand as I like to call it. I just call it Iron Sand. It's called Apollo Sand in game. Apollo Sand's mode, C-Spec, and the third ability is insanely good for bosses. First of all, the C-Spec does stack based on, where the boss actually is. And then the third ability also does, like, look at that. Look how much damage I just did to this guy immediately. It's best done when he's actually down, and right before he runs to you want a third ability, C-Spec, and it will do an absolute ton of damage to the boss. I'm going to try and actually get this onto him. Not to mention the M1s also are buffed. So yeah, he's down right now. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this real quick. I'm going to wait for him to get up. Obviously, while he's down, you might want to actually be using other abilities, but I'm gonna wait for him to get up. Come on, stand up, boy. And then third ability, He's gonna walk towards it and then C-Spec. Look at that. Look at that damage amount. Almost half HP immediately, and that's not even with, you know, that was basically all the third ability right there. Ooh, yeah, look at that companion that I already have. But yeah, Apollo Sand third ability and Apollo Sand C-Spec are extremely good against bosses, as you guys can just see from what I showed you. Now, coming in third place is going to be Shadow C-Spec. Specifically, Shadow C-Spec. The other abilities are really, honestly, quite terrible for bosses. But Shadow C-Spec, first of all, is absolutely nuts for Gen 3 bosses. It is absolutely insane for Gen 3 bosses. It does so much damage to Gen 3 bosses, as you guys will see at the end of this video. It is absolutely insane. But for normal bosses as well, it will actually be really, really good. I'm trying to show you guys this, but Diosenko's being a little bit of a butthole right now. He's being Diosenko right now, spamming iframes and abilities on me. So yeah, boom. Look, C-Spec, he's gonna walk straight through it. That one didn't do that much damage because he actually was a time stop. I am gonna do it again just so you guys can see how good it actually is. I should have waited for him to get down. The first ability you can use for PvE as well. It doesn't really do that much damage though. It's only 62,000, which really is not great for bosses. Also, I just want to put this out there. You guys can actually add any Z mode you want onto the actual, you know, onto the abilities. Specifically, you want to actually get as much Nin as you possibly can, since a lot of the abilities actually do use Nin for their damage amounts. So boom, C-Spec, look at that. Look at that. And he didn't even go through all of it. It is actually the best if you use Shadow while the boss is, you know, just spawned in, because that will actually make it so you get the maximum amount of distance that you actually can. I'm going to try it one more time against him to see if I can actually get a, you know, a good hit on him. All right, so I think he's about to go down here. Yep, he's down. Okay, so this is about max distance right here. I'm just gonna wait right here for him to actually get up. Come on, stand up, boy. You know your end is here, Diosenko. You are a terrible Kage. Boom, C-Spec, and I missed. Okay, you know what? You're the greatest Kage in the world. But you know, yeah, okay. Shadow C-Spec, obviously, guys, really, really good, especially for Gen 3s. Now, coming in second place is gonna be the Earth Avalanche sub ability. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and use it right here. Oh, he actually straight up missed it. If the boss walks through the Earth Avalanche ability, all right. So I just asked him to use Earth on him because I'm gonna. I'm getting, oh my gosh, my HP. Yo, Ghost, chill, Axe. Chill, please, please. Ghost Azarushi, please, Ghost Azarushi. Dude, those M1s like absolutely shredded me. But yeah, so the Earth Avalanche ability is actually insanely good for killing bosses as well. They're using everything that I just said on my list. Earth Avalanche is extremely good for boss killing in general, and like you guys can see, they're using everything that I said on the list. Now, honorable mention 1, I'm not going to talk about this that much because it should be fairly obvious. Tsunami, the entire KG, you literally just spam it. You literally just spam every ability of Tsunami, and it will do tons of damage to the bosses, just because all the Tsunami abilities revolve around knockback, and obviously bosses don't take knockback, so you will do the max amount of damage that you actually can. Look at this. Boom, dead to dash. Let's go. Now, honorable 2 is actually going to be all of the traveling abilities in the game. Now, Inferno is my personal favorite. I think it's the best to use, but the other traveling abilities are also Smoke, or you can even mix them. Like you guys can see, they don't put each other on cooldown, so you could actually just straight up mix them together. Traveling is one of the most underrated components of PvE content, just because traveling is so important from getting boss to boss. The faster you get from boss to boss, it doesn't matter how fast you kill a boss if you're extremely slow from getting boss to boss, which is why traveling moves are just so important to the actual game. By the way, guys, what is your go-to PvE bloodline for Shindo Life? Leave them in the comments below. We'll be checking them out. Now, as you guys know, the first place bloodline that is going to be the best PvE, you know, PvE ability in the game is going to be Xeno Dokai C-Spec and second ability. Now, this, you know, the first ability also does a bit of damage as well. Now, you guys may be thinking, oh, you know, the other ones actually do more damage than Xeno now. Why is Xeno still so highly rated on, you know, PvE tier list? Xeno Dokai is by far the, first of all, it is the easiest to use PvE bloodline in the game, and it is the best team-based PvE ability because it is very easy to get multiple people using Xeno Dokai C-Spec. It is the best for team fighting. You know, not team fighting, team grinding, which is what generally a lot of people do when they're actually trying to grind things fast. They do generally, you know, do it with other people. That is the fastest way to do it. And Xeno Dokai, just as a KG, is extremely good in team scenarios, just because, you know, it doesn't really, you know, you don't interfere with each other by using the abilities other than the third one. The abilities are insanely easy to use, you know, wherever the boss actually is, or if you fight whatever boss you're fighting. It works against Gen 3 now as well, which definitely makes it rank higher than what it would before. And it's still, guys, it still does a lot of damage as well. It doesn't do as much damage as some of the other ones, but you guys don't forget that you can mix this with all the other ones besides the other modes. So yeah, Xeno Dokai is still going to be the single best PvE based bloodline in the game for, you know, for the team based potential and for the you know, how easy it is to use. Plus, you could just mix with other stuff if you actually wanted to. All right, guys, so this is going to be a little special addition onto this video. It's going to be the fastest way to kill the Gen 3 boss. Now, this one, you want Shadow C-Spec. You want Iron Sand 3rd. You know, Earth 6 works really well. Gingerbread, you know, the Gingerbread Avalanche ability works extremely well. So does Emerald 2nd. But yeah, you guys are about to see what this does right here. Okay, you're so bad at this. He just immediately missed. Look, so the more people you have, oh, and it glitched out. The more people you have, the more damage it actually will do. Look at this. Look at the damage. And the boss is already dead. Obviously, guys, it's just like the more people you have, the faster it will be to kill this boss. As you guys can see, he got extremely shredded, even with the first dude being bad at PVE content. But we only used those 4 abilities. We didn't use anything else. You guys could throw other things onto it. This is a little, you know, side addition onto the video just for the people that want to grind Gen 3s. It works really, really well solo as well. So if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to like, subscribe. Hope to see you guys. Bye-bye.